Let's add our designs to the log cabin blocks. Two of the designs are in the Spring Showers quilt, but they are larger, and so I will need to use Embellishment software to make them smaller to fit the center of the block. The other design is a design I purchased off Etsy. I will have more changes with this design as I need to remove part of the design that I purchased, as well as make it smaller. Let's open Embellishments and I'll show you how I made the designs fit the log cabin block. I will bring in the log cabin template first so I know how small the designs need to be sized in order to fit the center. The two designs that I will be using that are included in the quilt are a little bird and the frog. The frog is on one of the umbrella blocks from row 1, and the bird is on a block that I have not used yet. I will bring in both designs so that I can alter the design and size it to fit the log cabin. I'll work on the bird first, and you can see that it is much too large for the center square. You can see on the right hand side all the steps for this block. I will click on each step of the boots and the flowers and delete them. This will leave me with only the bird. I will do the same thing with the frog. I will click on each step of the umbrella and delete them. Now I need to size them smaller to fit into the center square of the log cabin. Although usually it's not a great idea to resize embroidery files, Embellishments will let you resize a small amount. So I will size the frog and the bird down to fit that center square. I made a new page to do the third design, since it is more complicated. This design has two mushrooms, a large and a small. I will delete the pieces to the large mushroom, so I will have just the small mushroom to put in the center. This won't be as easy as the frog and the bird, because the mushrooms are not stitched separately. It's still an easy process, just a little bit more time consuming. You will see that each color is stitched on both mushrooms at the same time. I need to separate the steps so that I can delete the pieces of the large mushroom. Here you can see the design starts with the stem of the large mushroom. I will scroll across the stitch simulator until the stitch jumps to the small mushroom. Then I will use the arrows to go back until it hits the very last stitch of the large stem. Then I will click the stop. This tells the machine to stop at the end of the large stem. Now I need to pick a color for the remaining stitches of the small stem. I'm picking a bright color so it's easy to see what I changed. On the right hand side, you can see that there are now two steps for the stems, one for the large and one for the small, instead of just one step. I will delete the large. I'll go back to the stitch simulator and start. Because I deleted the large stem, the design starts with the stem of the small mushroom. Then it starts the small mushroom cap, and you'll notice it then jumps to the large mushroom cap. I will use the arrows to go back until I hit the very last stitch of the small mushroom. Then I will hit stop, so the machine will stop and break those stitches. I will choose a new color, which will be applied to the remaining stitches of the mushroom cap, which will be the large mushroom. Looking at the steps on the right hand side, you can see that there are now two steps for the mushroom caps, one for the large and one for the small. I will select the large mushroom cap and delete that step. I will go back to the stitch simulator and scroll through. It will start with the small mushroom stem, then the small cap, and then it jumps to the large mushroom. If I scroll through this color, you'll notice it places the gills of the large mushroom and then some detail on the large mushroom stem and then details on the small mushroom stem. Since I added the stop to the small mushroom cap, I will scroll through this color until I get to the small mushroom stem. I will use the back arrows to get back to the last step of the large mushroom detail. I will add a stop and change the color. This will put the new color on the remaining detail stitches, which is on the small mushroom. On the right hand side, I will select that dark gray color from the large mushroom and delete. The last color starts with the upper stem of the large mushroom, then goes to the dots of the small mushroom, and then back to the dots for the large mushroom. So I will need to make 2 stops, one at the beginning of the dots for the small mushroom and one at the end of the dots for the small mushroom. I will run the stitch simulator, and it starts with the top of the large mushroom stem, and I will put a stop at the end of that stem. I will change the color, which will change the color of all the remaining stitches of the dots for both mushrooms. I will delete the top of the large mushroom. I will run the stitch simulator until it jumps to the dots of the large mushroom, then use the back arrow to get to the very last stitch of the small dots. I will add a stop and change the color, which changes the colors of the remaining stitches of the large mushroom. I will select that color or that step and delete. Now I will go back and change the colors of the steps so it looks like a mushroom. Now that I've got just a small mushroom, I'm going to copy and paste it onto our page with the log cabin block. I will size it to fit the center of the block. Now I will copy and paste each of the designs onto a separate page and then save them individually. I saved these 3 designs into my combined files folder. Although these designs are not combined with other files, I've saved them into my combined files folder because they have been edited. I stitched out a little sample of the mushroom. Since I made it smaller, I wanted to make sure that the file would stitch out correctly. But since our log cabins have already been completed, we need a way to get the mushroom design into the center of the block. And in order to align properly, we're going to use an app from Brother called My Design Snap. Let's get started. Now we're going to use this Brother app called My Design Snap. We're going to use the top feature, and it says hold it parallel. I've got my frame that has the markings. I will hold my phone parallel over my hoop. It will line up and count down from 3 before it captures what's in the hoop. And then it says send to machine. The machine does have to be connected to Wi-Fi and has to be on the same Wi-Fi network as your phone. I'm going to send it to the embroidery machine. Now we can close the app. So we're going to go over and pick our design. Set. And it says the image was sent from the mobile app, which was the scan, and we want to update it so it shows up, so we hit OK. Have to attach the frame, because here's the frame that we took the picture from. Hit OK. We'll move. And there is our image. So now we can move this little design, this little mushroom. And I'm going to go into the edit so we can get a little bit more detailed moving. I'm going to hit edit, I'm going to hit move, and then it needs to go down just a little bit. So I'm going to use these down here so I can go just a little bit. Maybe over to the right just a hair. And then we're all set to embroider. We will repeat these steps for the next 2 blocks. I will rehoop the second block and use the My Design Snap app to capture the image of the block. I will send to my machine and we will follow the same process as we did with the first block. it, sew 2 of our log cabin blocks together and then sew those to the B blocks. I'll save the block with the frog till later on in the quilt, since the frog and the umbrella are in the row right above.